Want to know how elite tax advisors win the due diligence game to satisfy ultra-high net worth clients who expect the very best? Welcome to the Due Diligence Project podcast, where you get a chance to learn from the elite CPAs, virtual family office professionals, and tax specialists who are doing just that. We'll uncover their insider secrets on how they are dominating their competition, vetting new ideas, and supercharging their due diligence process to deliver extraordinary results. Bringing his 25 plus years of experience with top tax professionals across the country, please welcome your host, Alex Sunkin.
All right, I am here today with Alex Sunkin, the founder of the Due Diligence Project and the VFO Hub. How are you doing, Alex?
I am awesome, Paul. Good morning, and how are you? And thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And as of the time of this recording, we're in January 2023, so we just completed 2022, where we're going to be talking about that, as well as looking forward into the new year and what the DDP and what you have planned going forward. So let's start with kind of a year in review, if you will. Looking back over the past year, what were some of those insights or major lessons that you learned from having worked with so many family offices, virtual family offices, CPAs, and high net worth individuals?
Yeah, it's been an amazing year. It's been a challenging year for a lot of businesses. You know, we've seen record increase in interest rates. We've seen the economy go from 2021, where 2021, it was just ripping through after it made that bottom in 2020, and it was just going straight up. All these assets were expanding. And next thing you know, we had historic interest rate increases here that last year. We saw a lot of businesses that were doing extremely well the year prior do very, very poorly this last year. But what we've noticed is the CPA firms that we support, and we work with hundreds of CPA firms and family offices around the country, have a diversified portfolio. They've been thriving. They've been helping their clients with large income tax situations, been able to mitigate those tax situations. So the CPA community, our CPA community, is thriving because they're able to bring value to the businesses and the sectors of the economy that are expanding, exploding, and creating a lot of value there. We're really, really excited about what we're doing with our CPA community. We continue to grow, which means that more CPAs, more family offices, they are introducing more resources in the Virtual Family Office Hub. And we have more eyeballs, experienced CPA firms, law firms, specialty firms that have, unique leadership with a lot of experience in audit, a lot of experience in tax court. Now they get a chance to join our community and review the strategies that we've been reviewing for the last 10, 15 plus years. And then they can now add their feedback and refine those existing strategies. Then they have their own existing relationships with their favorite tax attorneys and specialists. They're now introducing, of course, them to our community, and then the rest of our community gets to refine and vet out those resources. And what's happening inside of our community is more and more strategies get vetted. If we find new strategies that go to the top of the ROI list, net of cost, net of risk, we're strengthening the value proposition that we're able to bring to our CPAs, and the CPAs are now able to bring more value to their clients. So this last year, in a very difficult economy, we've been able to serve billionaire clients, centimillionaire clients. We've had new clients who are famous celebrities, famous basketball players that everyone would know if you follow the NBA. Some of these clients we never even talked to, but the CPAs that we're supporting, they're their most important clients. And what we're doing is we're just showing the CPAs all of the best strategies that have been reviewed and vetted over the last 10, 15 years by our network of hundreds of CPA firms and law firms. And each year we're adding more. And each year we're maybe taking a strategy that was one of our premier strategies, and maybe we put it down the list a little bit from the third best or fourth best strategy. Now it's going down to the sixth best strategy because we added two new incredible ROI strategies, net of cost, net of risk. So as our community expands, it helps every member of our community with refinement of due diligence, with confidence, and with new strategies that are being added to our template. So we're really excited about what's happening with Due Diligence Project Virtual Family Office Hub, regardless of whether the economy is growing, the economy is shrinking. The business owners on the other side of this, they need elite CPAs. They need elite one point of contact for efficiency's sake that can plug into a best-in-class peer-reviewed network of resources like ours to get massive value so they can keep their businesses rolling efficiently. We're excited about it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. I heard you mention one point of contact. Can you unpack that a little bit and why that's important?
Yeah, we've been building these virtual family offices, for the last 15 years. And our belief is that the centimillionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire does not need multiple points of contact to tax structures, to their family office. They really need to make one phone call as opposed to 7 phone calls to their CPA firm, law firm, advisory firm, their captive guy, their ESOP guy, their partner CPA. I mean, when a business owner has, let's say they're selling an asset, they're thinking about acquiring a portfolio of real estate, bring this into their entire estate picture, income tax, estate planning, asset protection, business operation picture, it's very inefficient for them to make 4, 5, 6 different phone calls to get 4, 5, 6 different ideas from all these different attorneys, advisors, CPAs. What they really want is one point of contact. And who should that be? Based on our experience, it should really be their most trusted tax advisor, and who is supported by a network of best-in-class peer-reviewed resources. And that's really what we've been building for the last 15 years, is let's make your most trusted tax advisor, maybe it's your CPA, the head of your virtual family office, and then let's plug them into a network of vetted resources that have been vetted by hundreds and, our network, in 2020, we had 847 unique CPA firms participate in our Due Diligence Project Peer Review Summit. So we have hundreds and hundreds of, CPA firms, former KPMG, Deloitte, PwC tax partners. We have over 10 now, Big Four tax partners, tax associates, part of our network. And so to plug a CPA firm into that network and then have them pick out and choose their very favorite tax attorneys and specialists across every field and be able to be that one point of contact to their billionaire, centimillionaire, multimillionaire clients. Now those multimillionaire clients make one phone call to their CPA, they ask their questions, and now their CPA can basically give them answers and bring in the smartest, best resources, best attorneys, best specialists in the world to be part of their board of directors to help make this decision to design the plan for that business owner and then implement the plan with the best people in the country, not just the best people locally, which is what traditional family offices do. Hey, who wants to be a W-2 employee for this family office servicing this family worth $300 million? Do the best attorneys in the world, do the best advisors in the world want to sit there static, captive, working W-2 for a family office? I don't know. My experience says no, that the smartest, best attorneys in the world do not want to be W-2 employees for anyone. They want to run their own shops. And so in this model, this virtual family office model, the CPA can choose, the CPA and the client can get to choose any attorney, any specialist, any resource, any advisor in the world who've all been vetted, Amazon and Netflix style, by hundreds and hundreds of elite CPA firms and family offices in the country. So you're getting the best of the best, you're getting the cream of the crop, but you're only making one phone call to your favorite CPA who is overseeing, who's the quarterback of this entire Amazon style network of best-in-class peer-reviewed resources. So if you're the business owner and you're with 20 million, 100 million, a billion, do you want to make 17 phone calls and get 17 different answers from not the best people in the world? Or do you want to make one phone call to your most trusted advisor and then get vetted best-in-class resources, vetted best-in-class answers from the top resources who are vetted by hundreds and hundreds of independent peer reviewing CPAs? The choice is pretty clear. Do I want to go to Blockbuster Video that doesn't exist and try to flip back covers of videos and try to find a movie that my wife and I are going to watch tonight and enjoy? Or do I go to Netflix and one of these streaming services and basically have them show me a list of shows and movies that have been vetted by millions of people already watched them, and show me the stuff that's 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 stars, so I don't have to guess at what it is. And that's the current stature of what we're seeing is, unless the CPA of that family, of that business owner, is plugged into an independent peer review model, what's really happening with their due diligence is not pretty. There's many, many words that describe what's happening over there. Not pretty would be the nicest way for me to describe what's happening. And what we're seeing is billionaires, centimillionaires, multimillionaires try to recreate what we're doing. So they meet a resource, they meet a strategist, or they meet an attorney, they show them an idea. They have no idea what they're looking at because they're a business owner. They make widgets, they sell widgets, they're a doctor, who knows what they are. They're not a tax professional. So they show this thing to their CPA. Their CPA is one person, gives them one perspective of feedback, which is very valuable. Then they show this for their financial advisor. Then they show it to the estate planning attorney. Now, the financial advisor and the estate planning attorney probably have no idea what to do with this structure if it's really sophisticated, because they have very little experience in audit and tax court. And unless it's a traditional structure that everyone knows about, okay, which we're not interested in. We're interested in more sophisticated structure. If it's like a 401k plan or defined benefit plan or something that pretty much everyone knows about, which is created by the IRS for their benefit, that's not interesting. We're talking about sophisticated structures that may be risky, may not be risky, and the business owner needs to figure out, am I going to go to jail? What's going to happen in audit? Is this going to go to tax court? Do I want to leave this alone, or do I want to do this? To go through them trying to recreate their own due diligence project by going to their CPA, attorney, advisors, and doing this, they're going to get maybe 0.001% of the way that they need to get there. Now, this is what's happening in due diligence all around the world, all around the country, because the financial services industry is disjointed. So what we're doing is we're creating a team-based type collaborative environment. And it all starts with the independent peer review. So the independent peer review is hundreds and hundreds of independent CPAs and family offices reviewing these strategies, ranking and rating all these strategies, and then having new CPAs join and review, take the notes, ask their own questions, and either complete their due diligence or not by going to the tax code, reviewing the notes, going back to the tax code, asking questions, maybe going one-on-one with this industry leader or the specialist who's truly the thought leader in that space, peppering them with questions, peppering other CPAs in our community with questions, and then formulating a strong opinion. That is the way we do the due diligence, versus showing this to a few advisors and having them call W-2 employees that work for insurance companies and go, wait, what do you think of this strategy? And getting some feedback there where they're just it's basically like going to Blockbuster Video and going to the guy behind the counter and going, hey, have you ever seen this movie? What do you think? Okay, well, are you going to go to all the Blockbuster Videos and ask every single guy working behind all the counters what they think? I mean, if you did that, then all of a sudden you would do all of a sudden the due diligence would have some weight to it, but that would take a massive amount of time. So we're just doing that automatically. That's all we do. And unless your CPA is plugged into this independent peer review model, it's very difficult for them to actually complete the due diligence, even start the due diligence, or find anyone to talk to that's truly an expert in this subject matter, where that conversation is going to be, let's just say, an intelligent one.
Well, that's something that I know that you've talked about, in that who is, you make the analogy of Netflix and Amazon, which I think most people understand, but you also, unlike Netflix and Amazon, it's important who gets to, tell us about that slight difference. How is the due diligence project from that peer review standpoint different from Netflix and Amazon?
Right. Let's just say someone has a sick child, right? And they don't know what's wrong with them. You're not going to go and ask your gardener or your mechanic, hey, my child is sick. What's wrong with them? Can you help them? No, you're going to go to a doctor, but you're not just going to go to maybe a pediatrician. You might start with a pediatrician who's going to review and say, look, I don't know exactly what's wrong. You need to talk to a specialist in this area. And he's going to direct you to that specialist. So what a typical business owner, when they have a tax problem and that business owner makes widgets, sell widgets, or is a doctor or someone who's not in the tax space or in the financial space, regardless, even if they are, they may not be a tax expert. They're going to want to find people who are financial experts. And to them, they look at, all these financial people as the same. But financial advisors, estate planning attorneys don't have a lot of experience with audit, with tax court, with how the IRS looks at things. They're not signing tax returns. They're not producing tax returns. They're not dealing in audits. And so they are not really experienced in what the IRS is looking at, what the weakest part of these tax structures would be, how the IRS would attack it, how they would defend it. And so when a business owner goes to them and asks them a question about tax planning, the real answer should be, don't ask me, ask your CPA, or ask someone who has a lot of experience in audit and tax court. But what these attorneys and advisors tend to do is they just tend to answer the question and go research this themselves without any experience, without any know-how how to do it. And this is what creates a lot of issues. So the reality is our community is 99.9% tax-focused CPAs who have a minimum of 10,000 hours, hopefully over 50,000 hours of experience in audit and tax court, which means they've been through these experiences. They know what the IRS is looking for. When they review a tax strategy, they're looking at it from a completely different point of view. It's like they've been to Mars and you're someone that wants to go to Mars and you're like, tell me about Mars. Well, let me tell you about Mars. But a lot of people like to tell us about Mars and they've never been to Mars. They just read a story about Mars. And they're like, let me tell you about Mars. I just read the story about it. Have you ever been there? Do you know what the weather's like? What clothes should I bring? Well, I don't know any about that, but let me tell you what I do know. It's like, no, I want to talk to someone who has experience. And that's what we're trying to sift through all the nonsense and just get to the essential people who are these tax-focused CPAs. And that's why having the largest independent peer review community of, we like to call endearingly tax geeks, and I include myself as a tax geek, and I'm very proud to be a tax geek. We love our tax geek community because we love this stuff. We go in there, we look at this. And when I first started 15 years ago, I was not a tax geek. I've had to earn my tax geek stripes. It takes years and years of experience of understanding how the IRS is looking at all these things, and they look at it from a completely different point of view than what financial advisors and estate planning attorneys would think they would, unless they had that actual experience. So the key to this is everyone needs to stay in their lane. If you're an advisor and you sell financial products, sell those financial products. If you're an estate planning attorney and you sell estate planning trusts and structures, stay there. If you're dealing with income tax and audits and tax court, this is your world. And so if everyone stays in their lane and supports the lead advisor to the patriarch and matriarch of these virtual family offices, we can actually build winning teams, right? Winning teams. This is like in every company, you've got the leader, you've got the C-level executives, you've got the managers, subordinates. Everyone has to play a role. If a vice president starts to do the job of another vice president, or a vice president starts to do a job of the CEO, we're going to have a problem. It has to be team-based. And that's the problem in the financial service industry. It's all disjointed. And the Virtual Family Office Hub, the Due Diligence Project, we build these teams where everybody wins and we identify who the leader is. And in our model, it's the CPA, the tax-focused CPA, who's the leader of that virtual family office, and they're the quarterback. They're the closest one to the client, and all of the advisors, all the attorneys, all the specialists, all the best-in-class vetted resources, they support that quarterback who's the CPA, and all the work happens underneath surface so that we can actually do this one point of contact between the CPA and that client. And then that CPA brings in those key resources, those key specialists to actually do the work. Now they will interface with the actual end user client, but the quarterback is overseeing everything. And that model works extremely well, produces amazing results, allows for one point of contact, one phone call, and delivers a best-in-class peer-reviewed answer from virtually millions and millions of possible answers. We need to figure out what the best, highest probability strategy or plan is going to be. And that requires working with the smartest people in the country, in the world, in their areas of expertise. And we bring those people in to provide advice so we can design these elaborate, sophisticated plans.
One of the things I remember us talking about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, you were the due diligence project and the virtual family office hub, I think, were almost before their time, right? So, you were early entrants into the marketplace where, 2, 3 years ago, the, pandemic hit, everybody started becoming virtual, so to speak. Now that we're kind of past that for the most part, and we're looking back, just out of curiosity, I mean, this whole notion of virtual, how is that changing, evolving, or developing from your perspective over the past 2 to 3 years? Is it getting more? Is it morphing into something new, or is it just becoming more commonplace? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, we're really excited. We're really excited to be, one of the leaders in the virtual family office space. And maybe we didn't invent the term, but we certainly coined the term. We certainly, virtual family office hub was around well before a lot of firms started using the term virtual and virtual family office. What's really cool is, we have now virtual family office software developed by a software company that contacted us and said, look, we have virtual family office software. We have a 1031 exchange real estate facility that is, we're a virtual family office 1031 facility. So all of a sudden there's all these leading companies and leading organizations popping up that serve virtual family offices, and they're reaching out to us because we're the leader in the space and going, hey, we've got some great stuff to help your virtual family offices, your elite CPAs provide even more value to their clients. So that's really, really cool. Now, for me, and from what I'm seeing, is working on Zoom, working virtually is super efficient. It's very difficult. I think it's going to be very difficult for people to go back to the traditional way of working in in-person meetings, just because this is so efficient. And technology is not going to go backwards, Paul. It's going to go forwards. Technology is going to make this even better. These Zoom meetings are going to be even better. The apps associated are going to be even better. And we're just here to take it. We're taking advantage of the trend. We identified it very, very early. But we're just trying to find the most efficient way to create value, deliver value to our CPAs so they can deliver value to their clients. Because at the end of the day, this is really what it's all about. Value creation, value delivery. This is not about fancy marketing. I know you are a world-class fancy marketer, so storytelling and being able to position your story and delivering your story is very, very important. And we're proud to work with you and helping us, helping our members, helping our CPAs family offices, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, unless they're delivering real, unique value to these business owners, we're really not interested. And what we're seeing right now, at the end of the day, is we're making a huge difference in the lives of these CPA firms. They're making a humongous difference in the lives of their business owners. These business owners are able to save a lot in tax, create a lot of value in their communities. Some of the work we're doing is benefiting charities, many charities around the country. I happen to have dinner with one of the presidents of a charitable organization that we've been supporting that helps families with sick children. And they shared a story with me over New Year's that, and we've raised around $100 million for this charity that helps sick children. And one of the girls who just passed away, she was 16 years old. The organization was able to benefit her with $50,000. For the last 6 months of her life, she was able to do all these things. and have an amazing last 6 months of her life. And she was very, very grateful. And she there shared her gratitude with the organization. They shared it with me that, because of the work that we're doing and the work that our CPAs are doing with their clients, and the fact that we raised so much money for this organization, they've been able to help so many people. And one of those people was this 16-year-old girl. And she was so grateful. And I'm thinking, oh my God, because of the work we're doing, the work with our CPAs are doing, the work with these business owners are doing, we helped this 16-year-old girl have an amazing last 6 months of her life. I mean, wow, that is impactful. And so, of course, every time I tell the story, I get a little bit emotional, but this is just one story. There are other girls like this. We've raised, like I said, we raised over $100 million for this organization. This is just $50,000. Where's the rest of that money going? And what is that doing in our communities? So, we're really, really, our goal is to make a difference in the world, help elite CPAs, help elite virtual family offices, help elite family offices, ultimately help their business owner clients and elite families. And then what those families are doing is making a huge impact in their communities. And the goal is to make this on a multi-generational basis. And also, oh, by the way, let's help some charities that make a huge difference in the world with sick children. So we want to create 1 + 1 = 5. We want to create value for as many people as possible. We can't do it all, but this is our niche. This is what we're really good at. This is our passion. When I get up in the morning, I know that, maybe I don't need to work for a living to make money, but I'm serving a greater purpose. I'm serving, a God, and I'm working for him. I want him to be pleased with the work that I'm doing. And it's great to see this kind of feedback. It's great to see this feedback from our CPAs who are leaving big firms, forming small firms, making more money than they've ever made, working with their small firms, making a difference in the lives of their business owners, and then ultimately hearing these incredible success stories, not only coming from their business owners, but coming from the charities and the people that these charities are benefiting. So very, very rewarding. It's rewarding to share this State of the Union address. We've been so busy. We haven't had time to do these podcasts. We haven't had the time to do these State of the Union addresses. We've just been so busy serving our community. And here we're in January. We have a moment just to take a little breath and update the world by what we've been doing, just to go above water and be like, this is what's going on. Because after this interview, I'm going to go back in the cave and go back to work.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate you sharing the story about how some of the charity dollars are making the difference. I think,
you can start sharing the story too, Paul, because you're part of that. You made that difference in that 16-year-old girl's life too. And that, when you can track that dollar, it's like follow the puck all the way into the goal. Let's track that dollar where it's actually going. And when you can actually see it, it's like, wow, this is what we're doing. And we always want, when I was younger, my goal was to align my business with God's plans, with being able to be creating good things in the world, like doing good and being good and creating good, all these different things, as opposed to just, hey, let's just make as much money as possible, that's hard to do on its own, let alone having all this alignment. And so, but this is our goal. We have a very, very specific goal. And somehow, we've been blessed to be in this situation where we're realizing that goal and we're seeing the results of it. And it's a lot of work, but the work, is not work because it brings us so much joy.
Shifting gears slightly, going into the new year, what are your high-level thoughts about what's going to continue to be the same? What's going to be different? What are you most excited about as we enter this new year?
I'm excited just about the fact that we are growing the fact that we grew last year in a very difficult economy means that we can grow, that we're going to continue growing regardless, God willing, moving forward. And the fact that we're going to continue expanding because the marketplace is just telling us we love this. The CPAs that we meet, they don't even know we exist. Once they meet us, they're like, you're kidding me. This really is for real. Then they join and they realize it's actually way better than they thought it was. And then they plug in and they start doing it. So we're able to do this. We're able to create value for the CPAs. We're excited to create value for the business owners that they serve. We're excited to create value for these other charities that these business owners are potentially going to be helping if they end up doing some charitable planning. But at the end of the day, we're just excited to create value. And right now, what we're seeing in the marketplace is really there's two places where people are actually making money. If they're lucky, they're making money in their own businesses because their businesses are thriving in a very difficult environment. A lot of businesses are not. And the second place people are making money is in tax planning. If they can invest a few dollars to save a lot more dollars in tax savings and then use that money to create more jobs, to create more benefit in their community, we're seeing that as those are the two main opportunities that we're seeing in a very difficult environment. So obviously we're not here to help businesses make more money by being more profitable. We can offer them that advice too. That's not our specialty. Where we're really, really good is helping their CPA to sift through and complete their due diligence on all these possible tax strategies, and then all of a sudden bring those tax strategies to those clients to eliminate those unnecessary taxes so they can be more efficient in their businesses, so they can create more value in their communities and continue to thrive in a very difficult time. So this is really our goal. This is what we're doing. This is what we're seeing. And this is what we're excited about. And then when the economy does turn, the CPAs and their business owners that we've been serving are going to be extremely well positioned for that rebound. So we're looking ahead. We're looking, in the near term, medium term, long term. And from our vantage point, everything looks really, really good. We're just trying to ignore what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and things like that, because that's just something that we really have very little control over.
Final questions. In wrapping everything up, and you may have already touched upon this, but let me ask the question anyway. So final question, just what has you most excited on a personal level going forward, entering this new year, all the changes that are happening, dominating the field as you're doing, what has you most excited as a person getting up every day and doing the work that you're doing?
Oh man, well, here's the deal. I'm old now. So, you asked me this question 10 years ago. I was still a young man, and I'm still building and growing. And what's really cool is I'm 50 years old now. I'm going to be 51 this year. And what's really cool is to see, like, we've been coaching flag football. I've got these footballs and pictures of my flag football teams behind me. And I'm going in my 20th season of coaching flag football. And when I first started, my son, who's a junior in high school, I have two boys, two girls, but I coach my boys in football. And my younger one is a sixth grader now. So I've been coaching my sixth grader since kindergarten, and I coached my who's a junior in high school from second grade through mid seventh grade. So 2 seasons a year. Sometimes I was coaching both boys. So this is my 20th season. And what's really, really cool is seeing the boys who are now juniors, sophomores, juniors in high school. Some of them are seniors, what they've accomplished in life and where they're going. And from all the coaching that we did, all that hard coaching that we did for them when they were third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders. And then, as their sixth graders, seventh graders would kind of step off a little bit, we stopped the yelling and then let them form. And now they're blossoming. So we have like 3 kids who are literally on pro soccer teams. We have, kids who have multiple basketball scholarships. I don't know how many kids I've coached. It's just amazing to see these kids blossom and doing amazing things in the communities. There's so many kids that we can look at, and just really, really proud of that. And most importantly, that we didn't screw up these kids, because we were coaching them really, really hard, pushing them really, really hard. And apparently they can take it, and now when they get to high school, it's like, oh, these coaches are yelling at me. Oh, school works hard. No problem. I went through flag football. I went through Mr. Sonkin, Coach Sonkin's flag football program. There was so much intensity going into these playoff games and these championship games, and all the parents were crazy, the coaches were crazy, the other coaches were crazy, the teams we were playing against were really good. There was so much intensity, and it was really cool. It's really cool to see these kids blossom. Same thing when I see my CPAs. They're like my little flag football players. And to see CPAs who, we meet them, they're doing well, or they're struggling because they have partners, they're not happy with their current CPA firms. And to give them the confidence and to create a facility that provides them additional value and additional revenues to be able to leave those firms, form their own firms, and to thrive and to make way more money on their own than they did with their old partner firms, and to be a part of that, extremely rewarding. So it's all about helping other people and watching them be successful. When I first started with you, watching you blossom, it's even our partner firms, right? We're really excited to make our partner firms rich. My law firms, the law firms I work with, the specialty firms I work with, some of them we've changed their lives by introducing the hundreds and hundreds of elite CPA firms and family offices that are doing business with them. And their only job is to do a great job. Just do a great job. Be awesome. Just like my football players. Hey, just play great. Just be fearless out there. Don't worry. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. Just play your best, fearless. Bring value to your clients. Bring value to these CPAs. Make them look good. If you screw up, don't worry. We may just fire you and replace you with another firm. No pressure. No big deal. If you're not good job as quarterback, don't worry. You'll play receiver. We'll put someone else a quarterback. We'll just sit you down. You're not going to play quarterback. Look, this is the real world. And in the real world, we have to have real results. And what we're doing creates those results. And it's not just talk, it's real stuff. And because when you're dealing with CPAs, we're dealing with accountants, right? They're there to account. It's plus minus. There has to be a bottom line. They're looking at a bottom line. It cannot just be a bunch of fluff, right? No offense to all those people out there selling fluff. America, we're the greatest fluff sales country in the world. We're just selling fluff all day long. I mean, look at the stock market. Goes up, it's fluffy, comes down, it's fluffy. It's like, what's the value of the market? We don't know. There's a lot of fluff in there. Marketing, but at the end of the day, the accountants of the world, the CPAs of the world, we're in the bottom line business. And sports, youth sports, is a bottom line business. One team has more points than the other team when the time runs out. And that's how the world works. So to prepare CPAs to win in that environment, to prepare little kids who are going to go out, who are going to be men and operate in this environment, to get them ready for the real world and to do it the right way, in a foundational way that creates value, that doing the right things the right way every single time, that brings us tremendous joy and happiness. And so we feel we're very, very congruent in the coaching that we're doing, in the way we're doing everything, because we have some foundational principles that we rely on, so to go back to make sure we keep the main thing all the time. And that's what we go to, and that's what we're excited about. So moving forward, we rely on our experience, we see the success, and we're going to continue, rinse and repeat, and continue to add value, continue to find new strategies, continue to add more strategies to the portfolio, continue to add more CPAs, more refinement of due diligence. Those CPAs, those family offices that we're going to add new this year, they're going to introduce some more strategies. They're going to review the strategies that we've already reviewed. The refinement, the due diligence project is a snowball. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger and rolling faster and faster down a steeper and steeper hill. And we have a tremendous lead over. There's really nobody that competes with us. Our biggest competitors, Paul, are organizations and specialists that are part of the due diligence project. So we're like Google, we're like Amazon. Oh, we found a facility that's really neat. Come join Amazon and come market your facility on Amazon. Or we'll go on Google, and now we're Google, and now we're promoting your facility because we found you and we think you're really amazing, and you're not going to compete with us. You are now partnered with us.
Yep.
So that's like a snowball going downhill. Oh, we see another snowball. We're just going to roll over to that snowball and consume it. We're a bigger snowball now. Now we don't have any competition again. This is the power of the due diligence project. This is the power of building the largest independent peer review community of CPAs in the world, because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to recreate what we're doing. And it's taken us 15 years to build this community, right? So if someone wants to start right now, we have a 15-year lead over them. Just join our community and get the refinement and add value to our community, and then extract value from our community. And let's eat this, eat this elephant together one bite at a time as a community of tax geeks.
Love it. All right. This has been fantastic, Alex. I really appreciate your time, and I love hearing all the amazing work that you've done the past year. And I really look forward to seeing all the amazing work that you continue to do in the year ahead. Thank you so much for your time.
Paul, we love you. Thank you so much. We love the CPAs we're working with. We have a tremendous heart for CPAs, the work that we're doing, the work that they're doing out there. We know it's very, very difficult, and we're here to make it easier and help them be more efficient, more effective. And thank you so much for everything you're doing for us, and have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, my friend.
You as well.
That's all for this episode of the Due Diligence Project podcast. Be sure to visit duediligenceproject.com to access the resources we have available for qualified CPAs and family office leaders. Our mission at the Due Diligence Project is to help you deliver more significance and value to your very best clients while shifting your traditional practice into the firm of the future.